What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Minority Meals in Medicine podcast, powered by Mission to Medicine. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year. And in this new year, we're so excited to be bringing you all more great content. We're really looking forward to it.
Definitely. Today's podcast is sponsored by Mission to Medicine, a lifestyle brand that represents high achievers who are pursuing and actively living out their dreams of being healthcare professionals. Check out the latest merchandise online at www.missiontomedicine.com. Use discount code MissionToMedicine10 to save 10% off your purchase. It's 2022 and the summer is approaching, and as a pre-med student or someone who's pursuing a healthcare path, it's very important to be well-rounded. And one of the things that they suggest is that you have research and you have clinical or shadowing opportunities. So today we want to talk about different opportunities that you all can get and different tips that you can do in order to achieve these different opportunities this summer.
Definitely. And like the summers are so valuable because I know for me as a student, when I was in college, like studying and keeping up with the coursework, that's hard enough. That's a lot of work. That's like no joke to be doing all that kind of stuff. So what I kind of did and what we did is like maximize your summers and really take advantage of getting involved in some of those other opportunities that really make you stand out in the process. So in this video, we're going to talk about the summer programs that we personally did. And we're also going to talk about some tips and strategies for you all so that way you can find summer programs and how to be successful in that process.
Most definitely. So tip number one that we want to go straight into is locations, is how can we go and find these opportunities? Where can you leverage and find these shadowing opportunities or research opportunities? So in undergrad, one thing that I took advantage of was a listserv.
Yes.
So a listserv is basically an email blast list that basically goes out, or a newsletter that goes out to students within an organization. So I was a part of the pre-med Charles R. Drew Society. So we would have a list of different opportunities for the summer or winter where people would, list different opportunities to come and do research in their labs or to become a clinical worker, like
a scribe or like a clinical assistant. Yeah.
So a medical assistant, different things like that.
Sure.
So I think starting there would be one of your best bets. And then also moving on to national group listservs. Now that we're in like the COVID era, there's a lot of organizations that have started to incorporate Facebook groups and Discord groups where they will share information about opportunities and have virtual shadowing and things like that. It's those natures. So reaching out and finding different Facebook groups, you could just go on Facebook and type in pre-med groups and a whole bunch of them will pop up and you can find one in your area.
Yeah. And like one thing I was going to say on that is that I know for those big listservs, a lot of people, they kind of just like maybe skim it and don't even really look at it. But I've found so many opportunities through those listservs and newsletters that you definitely want to look through that and see if anything appeals to you and any experiences you want to get involved in from that.
And moving on from that is even more so like looking into local and state level opportunities. So you could go to the NIH website or your federal, that's the federal, or you can go to the state websites where you can further look into opportunities as well. So don't, overglance those opportunities that are there because you can find scholarships too.
Yeah.
On those websites.
For sure. So like Akeem was saying, let's just say you want to be in Texas for the summer because you have family there, that's where you're from, whatever. You can look at the medical schools in Texas and say, okay, Baylor University, for example, that's a place that's in Texas. You can say, okay, let me look on their website and let me just Google if they have any summer programs, or any other state. You could do the same exact process. We're from Maryland, so you could do that for Maryland, or maybe your undergrad has some type of summer program. So you can kind of use that and kind of that tailors your Google search and kind of how you look for those programs. Just search undergraduate research program, undergraduate pre-med program, and so many things are going to pop up for you.
And in undergrad, so for me specifically, when I used the listserv, I actually found this program that I ended up spending 2 years a part of, and it was called Adapt. And so this was a summer enrichment program that I did, and it was a paid opportunity. So not only was I doing research on my college campus and getting experience inside of a wet lab, so we were working with clinical patients, but we also had a wet lab component as well. And it was clinical and we got paid from it. So And we got free housing and food. So that was just a
Major
really great
plus.
opportunity. And I've never had to starve.
Right.
At all.
Same thing. Same thing for me. And like a lot of these programs are paid, like he said, and that's huge. So and same thing in the newsletter. I think it was sometime maybe my freshman or sophomore year. Saw something in the newsletter and I was like, okay, yeah, I want to get involved in this. It was a summer research program for, I think, 8 weeks. You get paired with a research mentor. You get paid for it. You get a stipend. You present a poster at the end of it. And out of that, I was able to even get published, which is great to see on your resume or CV that you were able to put work towards a project that was ultimately able to get published. So definitely don't sleep on those newsletters and opportunities through that.
And so if you have actually followed Cameron and I's journey, like we started the mission to medicine, one of the first videos that we did on YouTube was discussing our SMDEP, or now called SHPEP, which back then stood for Summer Medical Dental Enrichment Program, and now they branched out into other healthcare professions. That was also an opportunity that we came across by just, searching and finding it through listservs and whatnot, and hearing about from other people that went and did those programs. And that was an awesome opportunity where we were able to get clinical experience. We were able to take enrichment classes. So I took organic chemistry and I took physics as well. I took physics with you, and then I also took physiology, which helped prepare me for when I had to take those classes at my undergrad. Exactly. So when we came back to college, we were kind of prepared for those classes because we took them at SMDEP Duke. And we met a lot of great friends. We had a lot of great experiences, and a lot of people have gone on to become medical doctors, dentists, and other healthcare professionals. And it's just great to see everyone succeed and be successful, and know that we all had like the same mindset and the same goal being in that side, that, and we all came from different parts of the country. And recently, actually, just to talk about like how the friendships can like extend and go so long. Like one of my former roommate from that program, he just got married and invited Cameron and I both down to Puerto Rico to help celebrate his wedding. So it just goes to show like these programs and these opportunities can really be impactful and create really meaningful relationships, and it can last for a lifetime. So I definitely recommend you guys just actually seek and find these opportunities, because it's going to be worthwhile. For sure. And shout out to Raphael. He was actually on one of our guests on the podcast. So if you haven't listened to his episode, definitely listen to that. But yeah, I completely agree. SMDP was a great opportunity, now known as SHPEP. And for me, the biggest takeaway, I think, was actually meeting medical students and feeling like, I can do this too. Like talking to them and hearing from them. We've had multiple people who did the program with us who on the podcast and built, like Akeem said, built really great relationships. And it was an absolutely great opportunity. The program is geared towards freshmen and sophomores, currently freshmen and sophomores in college who are interested in medicine. And I think now they've expanded it to other healthcare professions as well. But it's a great opportunity, like Akeem and I were discussing. And if you're thinking about doing it this year, the deadline is February 5th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you think that you want to get involved in this program, definitely make sure you apply before the deadline. And it's a great opportunity, and I'm sure you'll love it. So yeah. So that brings us to point number 2, which is showing interest in whatever program you want to do. You have to reach out to the coordinators or people who have done the program in order to learn more about what it's like. Like Akeem was just discussing, like we've talked to a lot of people about our experience with the program with SMDP, and that's how other people have learned about it. We learned about it through people and talking about it and researching it. And that's how you learn more about the program. Also, it can help you in terms of actually getting into the program. I know for me, one of the programs that I already just talked about that I did was the Scholars program that I got involved in. And what I kind of did was I was interested in the program and learning more about it. I reached out to the coordinator. I shot him an email like, hey, like I'm interested in this program. I want to learn more about it. And he was able to tell me a lot of information. And from that, I kind of built a small relationship with him, and he knew that I was really interested in it. And I wound up getting accepted. I don't know, maybe that helped a little bit, but either way, I learned about it early and, ultimately got in. You lose the shots that you don't take. Okay. When it comes to this, sometimes it's about just putting yourself out there and presenting yourself well and represent yourself well by just taking that step forward. Email the program director, the coordinators of these programs, and introduce yourself in a professional manner and let them know how their field or whatever you're trying to get into, how it aligns with your interest and how you can benefit and how they could, benefit from you being involved inside their lab or their program. So just take the leap of faith and just email them, and who knows, you might be invited in for an interview just off of that one email, just showing, interest.
Right. And that's going to make you, stand out from other people who may be applying to the program because you show that you're really interested in it. So I would definitely highly recommend that tip.
For sure. So after you find the programs that you want to apply to, you get all the information down. Cameron already mentioned about SMDEP, the deadline. So if you heard that deadline and that sounds like a program that you're interested in, you go to their website, you get more information. You should probably get organized and get an Excel spreadsheet. Cameron has done this in the past where he's created an Excel spreadsheet and have the list of the schools or the programs, the deadlines, how many things that need to be, the requirements that need to be fulfilled, and how he wants to get them done. So having some type of organization and plan set in place so that when you apply, you'll be able to follow up in time with emails and with the proper requirements that are necessary.
Right. And that's one of the biggest things in terms of actually getting into the program is making sure you apply on time. So you want to make sure you have all those things down. Like Akeem said, one of the things that I did more so in the medical school process, but definitely helpful in this as well, is making sure I had everything organized, knowing what the requirements that I needed, the dates that the deadlines were, and having that organized in a spreadsheet so I could have that down and make sure I hit all the things that I needed to hit before it was time to actually apply. So I would definitely recommend, like Akeem said, really, really getting organized in that process.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about that already.
The letters, I think, will be good.
Okay. Yeah. So in addition to getting your application ready, it's going to be very important to gather recommendation letters. So recommendation letters, are letters from people that know you personally who can speak highly of you. And you want to make sure that they can write you a strong letter of recommendation. So when you're reaching out to people, you don't want to just ask for a letter of recommendation, but you want to say, can you give me a strong letter of recommendation? Right. You want to make sure they're going to be really strong advocates for you, because there are some people, they say, yeah, I can write a letter of recommendation for you, and they might write some trash in there, and you don't want them to do that. Like, I've heard some stories of professors saying, like, yeah, I know this student was a total joke, and I still wrote him a letter of recommendation saying that they should not accept him. I was like, whoa, that's terrible. Why would you just? So you better watch your backs out here, y'all. But yeah, definitely you want to start reaching out to people early on. If you know that you're going to be applying to programs, find out how many letters you need and make sure you get those in order so you don't have any hold up, because you're waiting on people to get these letters in, and it could take some time, especially if they're older people. I don't want to say it. That might be ageist. I don't want to say that, but the technology, some people are not as technologically advanced, so most times you have to submit these letters online. And so that's a whole process that you might have to explain. So it's going to be good to include instructions on how to submit the letters and whatnot. So you just want to make sure you have all your I's and your T's crossed and dots,
Yeah, absolutely. And for us, we both went to really, really big state schools. So I remember coming in, I think both of us kind of coming into college, we knew that we wanted to apply to the SMDP program, right? And one of the requirements, when we went through the steps, we saw, okay, we have to get a recommendation letter. So for me, I was like, shoot, how am I going to get to know somebody my freshman year to be able to write me a recommendation letter? I have 150 people in my class. How are they going to get to know me, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I did was I was like, okay, let me be proactive about this, and let me go to office hours and build a relationship with my TA. If some questions come up while I'm studying, I was like, okay, let me just write this down, take it to my TA, and we'll talk about it. He'll get to know me, know that I'm serious about this class. I'm a hardworking student. And towards the end of the semester, I was like, hey, I think his name was Josh, was my TA, right? So I was like, hey, Josh, you see me coming in here, I'm working really hard, I'm applying for the summer program, here's the information, would you be willing to write me a letter of recommendation? He's like, yeah, sure, no problem, I got you. And there was another TA too that I asked, and she wrote it as well. I got that stuff in, like Akeem was saying, gave them the instructions, I applied, and we got in. And
it's all about being genuine and being sincere when you're building these relationships as well. Obviously, you have something that you want to get done, but I don't think Cameron was going into the situation oh, I need these letters of recommendations, I'm going to office hours just for that. He was generally going because he had concerns and questions that he had for the topics that he was studying at the time. And you just actively go and you show up and you participate and you be consistent, and they take note of that. And whenever you have that favor that you need to ask, they're going to be more than willing, most likely, to help you.
Absolutely, for sure. So it's after you've found those locations or found the programs that you're really, really interested in applying to, you did your reaching out and learning more about the program, and you know what your application requirements are, and you have all that stuff in order. The next thing is just applying. And at the end of the day, if you don't apply for a program, the answer is automatically going to be no. It's going to be a rejection, right? So it's like you might as well just shoot your shot, apply, see what happens, and hopefully you get in and, see what happens.
For sure. And the one thing that I really want to stress is like, share the news, share the wealth. I feel like with these programs and opportunities, just like how you found it, there's other people that are interested and want to find out about these programs as well. So if you find out about a good program and you get in, or you have success, or not even before you even get in, you could let other people know as well, and so they can have an opportunity to apply. And that's one of the things that I was really a big component of when I was in college. I made sure to tell people, like, apply to UMADAP, come to the open house and sign up. It's like getting people involved and making sure people have opportunities to succeed as well and be a part of it. So
right, like share with your community. Exactly, I love it. And then at the end of the day, you've applied, and even if you don't get in, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're gonna have a later video that discusses how we kind of went about maximizing summer still, even if we didn't get in to a program. So we'll talk about that later. Make sure we'll make a video on that. So don't worry, we got you covered no matter what.
If you all found this video helpful, found the content in it valuable, please smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, comment down below. It helps out the algorithm. We want to make sure our video and our content gets published to more people. So if you're doing all of that, that would really help us and mean a lot to us. And we're starting something new for 2022. We are dropping a what, Cameron?
A newsletter, so you'll be the first to learn about any of the new videos that we have coming out, as well as exclusive information and things that will help you along your journey.
Definitely. So please sign up for the newsletter. All that requires is your email.
Yeah. And like Akeem said, make sure to comment below if you have some tips or summer programs that you did that you think other people might be interested in it. Comment down below, share the wealth like we said, and let other people know about it.
Big facts. Until then, remember, your future patients are counting on you.